Aloha and welcome to Connection to the Cosmos with your host, me, Dr. Lisa Thompson, where I have out of this world conversations with extraordinary people. Today, I'm really excited to have on Cornejo. We're going to bring her on in just a moment, but first, a few announcements. If you have not had the opportunity to grab my free 20-minute meditative journey to meet your galactic family and guides, make sure you grab that on my website, mysticmanta.com or drlisajthompson.com. Also, for those of you that are healers, energy healers, regression therapists, I am holding my Galactic Ascension Channel certification program so that you can up level your skills to help your clients in their healing. That's being held online September 21st and 22nd. And then I am also hosting my Galactic Retreat here on the Big Island of Hawaii, October 2nd to the 6th. Just a few spots available for that. And if you are traveling to Hawaii, specifically to the Big Island, then come on one of my Big Island UFO tours, where you will see the night sky in a whole new way with the Generation 3 military night vision goggles. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to bring on Cornejo. Hello. So great to have you here. Let me share with our audience your bio, and then we'll just jump into the conversation. So Cornejo is an Incan high priestess, medicine woman, and sacred guide for rising medicine women who want to step into their sacred destiny and live authentically in their divine essence. She's also a cacao, rose, and flowers priestess and medicine woman, a certified Reiki master, and a former registered nurse. A master ceremonialist, she comes from an ancient healing tradition of the Inca lineage. She leads ceremony based upon Inca and Amazonian medicine. She initiates and guides emerging medicine women worldwide through sacred ceremonial programs, both in person in Cusco, Peru, and online. Well, welcome, Cornejo. So happy to have you here. And as I was sharing before we got on, I was in Peru in your area a year ago, and I absolutely loved it. So maybe we can talk a little bit about that later. But first, I would love for you to share with me and the audience kind of how you grew up, spiritual, religious, something else, so that we can understand how you got into the work you do, especially if coming from the world of nursing. Okay.
Yes. Well, thank you, Lisa, for this beautiful opportunity to share. Let me start from the beginning. Yes. So I grew up in Lima, Peru. And then when I was 19, I moved to Canada with my parents and my brother. And I started a new life. I went to university to become an RN because I always knew I wanted to do meaningful work helping people. I couldn't imagine being in an office and doing office work. I really wanted to be working with human beings, as much as I could, close to them and supporting them in some way. But I just didn't know how. So I thought nursing was a good fit. And then I did my career. I had a very dark night of the soul. It was the mother of them all for me. I have had, a second one, but this was definitely the one that shook me to the core and awoke me. So I went through depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and anxiety back then. I was at that time still doing the nursing job, and just God knows I got support from the spirit guides to do my work because I was so depressed. I was crying on the corners of the hospital where I used to work. I was doing rural nursing at that moment. And in the midst of all of that, I had this moment, let's say it this way, of a spiritual awakening that happened when two eagles came and landed on my balcony. And I just heard this loud noise. I look around and I saw through the window these two eagles, like sitting side by side in the balcony. And I looked at the male one that was big and muscular, and I looked at the claws first, and I went and looked up, 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 up to the eyes. And then we looked into each other's eyes at that moment. And it was just a few seconds of something that I couldn't put words to, and I didn't know what was happening. But just 2 weeks within that period of time, I started to receive messages, and people came into my life talking about energy work, inviting me to learn to do Reiki, to learn how to do that. My first spiritual guide appeared from nowhere. I wasn't even looking for support, didn't know what I needed or what, where to look for help. And then I started a beautiful journey of healing my woundings, which were deep and painful. And not only I had this first spiritual guide, a second one came along, and then somebody else, and they all told me, you need to go back to Peru to heal with your own medicine. There is powerful medicine in Peru for you. So I listened, I did that. I came back to Peru, and just like any person coming from any other country in the world, I didn't have family in Cusco, no one to say, come over to my home and stay with me. No, I just came to Cusco and invested in myself and my healing, from just having my breakfast, to getting the healing itself. So I did that with so much love, with so much faith. And in that very first Incan ceremonial healing experience, I got the calling to return to being an Incan priestess. I
Mm.
felt the connection with Mother Earth in such a deep way that I had never ever experienced growing up as a Catholic, going to church every Sunday. I never had an experience of connection with God in such a deep, amazing way. This was absolutely new to me. I just couldn't believe how amazing this was, connecting with the spirits of the Incan people, my grandparents, nature, Mother Earth. So I went from there, continued my healing, and started the path of initiation in the Incan lineage. And from there, everything else just happened. The spirit guides took me beautiful places in the sacred work, brought the sacred clients, new teachers. I became initiated later on as a priestess and medicine woman of cacao and roses and flowers. And all of that started with that very first Incan ceremony to heal my own life.
Yeah, well, beautiful. Well, and I can tell you from my perspective, my own healing journey is what led me into wanting to then help other people heal as well, because I never saw myself as that, But so I would love to know, if I've had a couple of other people on that are priestesses or priests doing plant medicine kind of ceremonies, but what specifically, how do you, what is this Incan ceremony, and how did it help you? Like, what did it do? I know it helped you heal, but can you be more detailed about what goes on with it?
Mm. Yes, the Incan ceremonies are ceremonies that happen outdoors in nature. They don't require drinking any plant medicine of any kind. Is basically like your church is nature, right? That's your temple. And the sacred Incan priestess, in this case, me doing the ceremony for other people, my role is in becoming this conduit, this bridge, if you will, of support between the spirits of Mother Earth and nature, specifically Mother Earth and the mountains, and the people receiving the ceremony. There are many different beautiful ceremonies of the Incan lineage that are for specific purposes, but let's talk about that very first one I received myself. That was a ceremony of thanksgiving to Mother Earth and the spirits of the mountains. So when I do offer that kind of ceremony within the sacred programs to my sister medicine women that I support in them becoming strong medicine women in the path. So what I do is I create a ceremonial offering to Mother Earth and the spirits of the mountains, and I do it with prayers. So everything happens very mindfully. I also invite the sisters receiving the ceremony to go within and to also have their own prayer dialogue happening between them and the spirits of Mother Earth and the mountains, and to share with me, whatever they want to share with me about their intentions also for what they are desiring to receive blessings, what kind of blessings, specific things they desire to receive from Mother Earth and the mountains, and also what they want to say thank you for. So yes, it's a Thanksgiving ceremony. It's also of gratitude. And so I start creating this. Some people say that it looks a little bit like a mandala of sorts. It's an offering that is multi-layered with many beautiful things of nature, oftentimes, flower petals and seeds and whatnot. And I do say my prayers, and I am just within, it's this is as a prayer between me and Pachamama, Mother Earth, and the mountains, while my sisters are also going within in their own prayer, and we're all putting our prayers energetically on that Thanksgiving offering in the physical, right? And then they receive blessings, that I am able to offer to them with the offering as well, final blessings and that. And then I am in charge of giving this offering to Mother Earth. How? Well, sometimes it's a matter of putting it into the earth, and sometimes it goes to the spirit guides with fire, and they will tell me what is appropriate and what is that they want, at that moment for that particular ceremony for those particular people. And so it's very profound. And so the one thing I want to say that is important is the reason why I can do these sacred ceremonies to Mother Earth and the mountains in this particular way within this lineage is because first and foremost I received initiations.
Mm.
Otherwise, I couldn't do this. It's not about the technique. It's not the one, two, three, what do I do? How do I put all of this together? Really, that's not that important. What is truly important is that I have gone within the traditions of the Incan lineage, asking for permission to Mother Earth and the spirits of the mountains. Because that's the only thing that they really ask from us, that we are very, very respectful to them, because respect is a form of love. And so within the Incan lineage, there is this beautiful ceremonial process that we call initiations to go through so that we get permission from Mother Earth so that we can actually do these ceremonies. My husband, Peter, my soulmate husband, he's an Incan priest. We went together into the path. He was there with me in the first ceremony ever that we received, because he wanted to support me out of love. And in that, being there for me in support of me, he discovered his own calling. And so he can help me when I do these ceremonies. He can be physically by my side and help me create ceremony. He can be in the supportive role as I can be in the supportive role for him. But if my husband wasn't an Incan priestess, he would not be allowed to touch anything that goes into the ceremony, because he wouldn't have that proper permission from Pachamama, from Mother Earth, and the spirit guides. And so he would be overstepping, you see? So it's not a matter of me being my husband, he can help me with ceremony. No, he is there in his own right because he has asked proper permission and gone through the proper steps to be able to do ceremony in this lineage.
That's beautiful. Well, so I'm curious then, does one have to come from an Incan lineage to be able to be initiated to do the Incan ceremonies?
Well, this is a soul calling,
Mm.
and the spirit guides know us very well, and they know who to call by name. And so they have called before sisters to be initiated through me in the Incan lineage and to receive this initiatory ceremony, ceremonial program, so that they can go into the Incan lineage. And then once again, this is about the clarity of the calling inside of a person, being there to want to step into the sacred path with purity of heart, with true love and devotion. And I have noticed that I can tell you about the sister clients that are taking this initiatory program with me. Oh my gosh, these women are so sweet and devoted, and so aware of the need to be always respectful. So if they don't know something, they always ask. They tell me, "Can I do this? Is it okay if I do it this way, or if I wear this kind of attire for ceremony?" And so it's so sweet because this is what they love. The spirit guides like us to be like children in the purity of our intentions, the love that we have for them, and how we come to them with love and respect, and we are humble as well as we enter the path.
Mm, okay, I love that. So, what is the difference between the Incan and the Amazonian medicine that you're talking about?
You know, there are some differences, but in essence, of course, it all goes back to being in deep, loving, respectful connection with the spirits of nature and doing sacred work. Now, The Amazon, I will talk about, well, the Amazon is big and they have many beautiful traditions and ceremonies and different ways and plants to work with. But I'm going to talk about the ones I know for sure the most because I have healed also with them and they are also in support of my sacred work. So I'm going to talk about grandmother ayahuasca, grandfather tobacco, and there are many other sweet plants, that are also working alongside with them.
Mhm.
So what happens is that in this kind of tradition with ayahuasca and tobacco, for instance, the ceremonies have to do with the energy of the plant we're talking about specifically and how she works, what kind of energy she brings to the mix, which is a different way of working of Mother Earth or the mountains, for instance. So, for instance, with ayahuasca, she's a deep, deep healer, and the way she works is by going into your body physically. So you need to drink the brew of ayahuasca, and then she's going to open up places in your brain and in your heart, in your energy, to support deep healing and releasing, and to also give you information, guidance, and support. And so oftentimes that happens through visions, which ayahuasca is famous for, but not always. Also body sensations and energetic changes and realignments that she does. So that's how she works, right? She works in those ways. Whereas in a ceremony of the Incan lineage, you won't have, generally speaking, those visions, although some people are very sensitive and they might go into seeing things with the eye of the mind or envisioning things with the eyes closed as they're praying, as they're talking to Mother Earth. But it's not a physical thing that you have drunk anything to have that opening, that ability to connect in that way. Yeah. Do you have any question?
Is one more powerful than the other one? Like, is it more powerful to have the plant medicine, or does it vary per person?
You know what? Both are so powerful. I mean, Mother Earth, all of the spirits of nature are so amazingly powerful. The thing is, they will call us when we need them, and they will know what is that you actually need from them and who out of all of these spirit guides is your medicine. Yes, so it's a matter of matching, what is that you need and who you are and your needs, and they know. So if for instance you need deep healing, ayahuasca will call you, perhaps, maybe not, maybe somebody else, another plant or another spirit of nature, and then they know, who is the perfect match for each one of them. And that's what is important, to tune into the intuition within and to the calling, and recognize, who is calling you. And this is a very special, deep soul, heart kind of sensation. The calling comes through the heart. Now, it's not that one is more powerful than the other. It's just like every one of the spirit guides, it specializes on something. They have a special energetic imprint, and they all can do different things for you. Like, for instance, I can totally heal with the energy of the water. That's a spirit guide.
Yeah.
But I could also heal with the spirit of Mama Rose, with the energy of warm love of Mama Rose. But it's not about who is better or who is more powerful, because really, I'm telling you, it's not that one is more powerful than the other. They all have their own abilities and their own specific kind of medicine. And sometimes there are overlaps, right? Like in this case, I'm talking about the water and Mama Rose. But then it's not about, who is best, it's who is calling you. Which one of them is your medicine at this moment? And to be able to recognize that within and to say yes to the invitation and go for it.
Okay. I mean, I love that. Absolutely. And I totally agree. So for those who aren't, I guess, or who are curious and maybe want to attempt to do something like ayahuasca, what would you recommend in terms of like finding the right guide? Because not everyone can necessarily travel to Peru, but and I know it's becoming a lot more popular here in the U.S. for people hosting ceremonies. However, not everyone I think is trained correctly or initiated or any of that. So if you could speak to that.
Yes, that's a beautiful question. Safety first, I like to say. um, there are all kinds of healers out there, not only working with ayahuasca, but many other plants and many other spirit guides. There are many, many. And there is a great variety of backgrounds that they come from. Some come from the heart, truly wanting to do great work. And perhaps they are properly trained, perhaps more than training again, like have they gotten the connection with the spirit guides properly? Have they gotten the initiations? Have they had also enough experience leading the sacred ceremonies? Where are they at in their own development as someone leading? And then there are also people who do not mean well. And I have to also warn people about that. There
Yeah.
are people that look the part, say the right words, they're charismatic, they have the smile, everything is there. And yet, deep inside, there is darkness. And what do they share with the people? Darkness. And so there are also some people that work with darkness that I have to warn you about, that they might be actually even famous. They can heal many people and they can work amazing miracles with what they're doing, their work. And so they have a big following and people saying they are just amazing healers. And everyone thinks, of course, this is the truth. If so many people are saying they're great healers, right? They have accomplished miracles, let's say. But then you go to them, and perhaps they do support some people and help some people amazingly, and they also are taking power away from other people. They are raping women. They are actually working with darkness.
Hmm.
This is the reality of the world out there. So what do we do? How do we make sure we are going to a true healer and someone who can actually help us? Well, once again, there is a need to be in deep prayer about this, a deep prayer, and asking your spirit guides to show you the way and bring the right healer to you, the right person to help you. That, praying also for protection, to receive protection and support. And then doing your best to train your inner knowing. For you to connect to your intuition, for you to connect to your heart, and not taking at face value what everyone says about everyone, but really looking at these people who are healers with the eyes of God, the divine, with your own intuition, and asking yourself, what am I seeing here? Is this a true healer? Is this a real healer that can help me or not? Is this in alignment for me to step into sacred ceremony with this person or not? Will this person truly be able to help me? Is this person well prepared to help me? Is this a good match for me? Will this be for my highest good? And then, listen for the answers and observe and see. You know that once someone told me this phrase that I really remember at this moment to share it with you. It stays with me. This phrase is about where there is confusion, there is no God. Where
Mhm.
there is confusion, there is no God. Once myself, I came across people that many believed in, that they were amazing, wonderful spiritual guides here on earth. And I met them in person and I got confused. I was like, what is this? I don't know what I am seeing here. Yes, they are pretty. Yes, they dress nicely. Yes, they speak softly. Yes, it looks like they are not even walking here on earth, but they are um, kind of like Jesus walking on water, kind of like that. And I was like, but there was confusion inside of me. I was seeing things and not understanding what I was seeing, but feeling there is something to this that isn't right. There is something out of alignment. What is going on? And then finally, at the end of the day, I got all my answers and I understood. And the truth was, they were not the real deal. It was sad because the person who introduced me to them wholeheartedly believed in them. And it, made me sad at that moment to understand that my friend was under the wrong impression and that she was following people who were not the real deal. And so there are many of those out there. They in the Bible they call them the false prophets. Be aware of the false prophets because they are out there very much among us.
They are, and I think that's very wise advice that you just gave to people. Very important message. So, the women that come to you, tell me what kind of characteristics they have. Like who are your best people that work with you?
Wow, these women. Well, they are. amazing. They are in their hearts. They are very sweet and loving and committed to serving the light and to bring in something really positive to this world. They want to support people in awakening, their awakening processes. They want to support people in deep healing. They want to help people connect with their spirit guides themselves. And they just want to be a positive influence in this world in every way they can. And they already oftentimes have beautiful connections with Mother Earth and the spirits of nature. They oftentimes are also connected to the spirits of extraterrestrial beings, of love and light. They have many beautiful connections, and they know already like there is something in them, that they have abilities that they can channel sometimes, or that they have such a deep connection to spirit guides like Mother Earth that is not as usual to see out there. And what they want and need oftentimes is that they want to grow. They want to grow in their abilities, and they want to be able to put themselves out there and offer their services, because as much as they know that they got something going on in them and that they can do amazing work, they're still not oftentimes serving, or they're serving to some people, and they're like, no, this is just like a little taste of what I can do and that I am here to do. There is more, and there are more people to serve. Other times also they notice that their energy is a little bit like all over the place. That might be for some people the reality, that they connect in deep meditation with Mother Earth, for instance, and spirit guides, and then sometimes they feel like they're up above, a little disconnected from the earth, like a little too up here. I don't know. If you're hearing this and you know this is you will know what I'm talking about. Like it's a little bit like their energy is all over the place. And those are my words. Maybe they don't see it that way, but they're like, oh, sometimes I'm so connected here, and sometimes I'm all up above and no connection to the earth, something like that. And so what they need is landing and grounding their energy. And that's one of the things that we do within the Divine Woman Emergence. Other times they also understand that they have a connection to Mother Earth that is special and deep, and yet they know there is a deeper deep, like there is more depth to it that they can jump into and get to know, and they really want it, but they don't know how to get there. And so I also support them. And this is all about the energy of the work we do together. This is all an ongoing process of helping them and showing them the way to a deeper connection that oftentimes we cannot get to that by ourselves, because is the nature of things. That's how the ancient ones have gotten to the depth of connection to the spirit guides, or like Mother Earth, for instance. It's been through receiving support from a medicine man, in that case, or a medicine woman, who is supporting and guiding you through the process and doing the initiations with you, supporting you to receive those initiations, and stepping into deeper and deeper levels of not only getting to know your spirit guides, but working with them in partnership, which is a whole new level of knowing your spirit guides, because we can know them and have a personal relationship, but now to go out there and serve the people with them as a team, that requires a whole new layer of, teaming up.
Yeah, totally. I highly resonate with that because of the work that I do with my galactic team. And since you did bring up ETs, and when I was in Peru last year, the purpose of that trip was really kind of an ancient alien tour of Peru, because you have these amazing, megalithic structures that we don't have technology for to create the same things nowadays and all of that. And I know that Peru is kind of a hotspot of UFO activity, previous, in the past and modern. But I'm wondering if you have any connection to any of the galactics, and if you're willing to share any of the experiences that you've had.
Yes. Well, oftentimes in sacred work, they come through. Especially, I remember that there has been some of those experiences in ayahuasca ceremonies. And the spirit guides from the stars, sometimes they come because there is some specific work they want to do with the people I am serving. And sometimes the people I am serving already have those connections with the spirits of beings from the stars of light. And so, because I am in service of the light in this particular person, for instance, then they might be called to come through me or to work with me because they know me, right? They know that I am open and I am like any being of love and light that wants to work with me at any given time. If it's in divine alignment, let's do it. I'm ready to play with you. Let's do it. Let's work together. And so that is, something that can happen. Yeah, so that's something that can happen also depending on the people I am working with, in service of the light, always in service of the light.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, in our last bit of time here, is there anything else that you are really feeling called to share with the audience about the work that you do or just any other messages?
Mhm. Yes. Okay, so let me just tune in for a moment and I'm going to give you a message. Hmm. You are stronger than you think, and you can walk on this earth knowing that you are safe, that you are loved, that you are surrounded by me, by the light, that you have what it takes to find your path. Wherever you are and whatever you are doing, when you make the decision, you can just drop everything and follow the path of the light and become a being that is radiant and knows her calling and knows who she is. And you can be just anything and everything that you are being guided to do and be. There is nothing too big for you to achieve, there is nothing too big. And remember this, you are here to do all of that, accomplish your mission with me, not alone, with me. Let's do it.
Beautiful. Well, so how do people find you? What's your website? What social medias are you on? Things like that.
Yes, you can find me at my online home. It's called alturasspiritualjourneys.com. Alturas, Alturas. Alturas. And yes, spiritualjourneys.com. And so there you can find a gift from me called the release ceremony. And then you can, that way, also become part of my community. You're going to find there all of my offerings. One of them is the Divine Woman Emergence. It's an initiatory program for medicine women that are wanting to really come to their next level and be in their essence and beauty. And so here I am to support you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here. And for anyone that is called to work with you, I highly recommend they reach out and to get that release ceremony and be part of your community. And again, thank you for sharing your light with the world. We need more of us.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone watching.
Yes.
Such a
So,
pleasure.
for those of you watching or listening, thank you so much. And I'll see you next time on Connection to the Cosmos. Aloha.